How did Scandinavia practice settler colonialism historically? Imagine a time when brave explorers from Scandinavia set out into unknown waters, seeking new lands and opportunities. That's exactly what happened during the early centuries of the Viking Age. Norse sailors traveled across the North Atlantic, establishing settlements in places like Iceland, Greenland, and even parts of North America. These settlements weren't just temporary camps. They involved moving people, claiming land, and creating new communities from home. This was an early form of settler colonialism based on exploration and permanent settlement. Later, during the early modern era, around the 17th and 18th centuries, Scandinavian countries like Sweden, Denmark, and Norway expanded their reach even further. Sweden, for example, created colonies in North America called New Sweden, which was in the Delaware River area. They also set up trading posts in West Africa called the Swedish Gold Coast and had interests in Asia. These colonies involved building forts, trading with local peoples, and sometimes fighting to keep control. They also brought settlers from Scandinavia to live in these new lands, aiming to build economic and political influence. Denmark and Norway also had their own small colonies, mainly focused on trade. They set up forts and trading posts in India, like Tranquebar, and in the Caribbean. These efforts involved working with local rulers, establishing military presence, and controlling resources. Even though their colonies were smaller than those of other European powers, they still followed the pattern of settling, trading, and sometimes using force to dominate local populations. Back home in Scandinavia, the practice of settler colonialism also took a different form. The indigenous Sami people, who lived in the Arctic and subarctic regions, faced policies aimed at controlling their land and resources. The Swedish government created laws that divided Sami communities into those who reindeer herded and those who did not. They pushed for Sami to adopt Swedish ways of life and took control of their land for industries like hydropower. These actions were a kind of internal colonization, where the state exerted power over indigenous peoples and their territories. So, in the early modern period, Scandinavia's approach to settler colonialism involved both overseas expansion through settlement and trade, and internal policies that aimed to control and assimilate indigenous populations. These efforts shaped the history of the region and its interactions with the wider world.